Witam wszystkich bardzo serdecznie, I'm Mysticle, and today I'll be bringing you the latest in AR and VR news. Do ignore this for the remainder of this video. My hair decided that today is a no day. Either way though, with that being said, as usual, you have chapters down below to skip to any specific part of this video that you might be most interested in. And with that being said, let's get right into it. So, the very first thing we have on our news list today is some Horizon OS improvements. I'm sure quite a few of you have already noticed these, as they have been appearing on headsets throughout the last few weeks. But apparently one major improvement comes in the form of media watching, reported by Luna. This is probably one of the best quality of life improvements Horizon OS has gotten in a while. It's not perfect, but it works in the vast majority of cases in my testing. And this is an example clip that Luna has posted of automatic resizing / aspect detection during video playback. And yeah, it does actually seem to work quite well. It's like good haptics. I always say it's like good haptics. You don't notice them when they're there, but they make the experience so much better. Just like the option to disable ambient lighting, something that a lot of people probably didn't even notice. So Meta added this a little while ago, and it's essentially the ability for windows to kind of match the background of whatever they're floating on, especially in augmented reality. And this is something that Android has had for a while with their theming engine, essentially allowing windows and icons and such to match the color that you choose for your entire Android ecosystem. But in case you did notice it and you didn't like it, you now have the option to disable it. It seems that in newer V79 builds, it can be disabled in settings, display, and brightness. So that's nice, giving the user more options. As well as that, the screen reader is supposedly rolling out. Looks like Horizon OS screen reader is finally rolling out, I believe, for those on V78 Plus. It can be turned on via settings, advanced, then it appears in accessibility, vision. Interestingly, it requires at least one controller to function. That's very interesting. In this tutorial, learn how to use the screen reader with your controllers. Press the trigger button on the back of your controller to continue. Okay, so this is a tutorial. That is quite interesting, the fact that it does require a controller to function. I haven't tried this one out yet, but it's very good, of course, seeing Meta adding more accessibility options. Meta's Quest Runtime Optimizer helps Unity developers fix performance bottlenecks. If you guys have ever tried developing something for virtual reality, especially for standalone virtual reality, you'll know it's quite difficult. I tried, and I'm not going to say I succeeded, but I did create something. And the problem, especially with standalone, is polygons, which is why you need to optimize for it, at least in VR chat. And we did a lot of optimization when our VR chat world existed. As a matter of fact, I believe it still exists, it's just kind of abandoned. That is exactly what Meta's Runtime Optimizer will supposedly help you do. While graphic programmers and veteran game developers already use RenderDoc and Meta's OVR GPU Profiler command line tool to identify performance issues, these tools are relatively complex for developers new to working with real-time 3D graphics rendering and don't have the understanding of engine editor settings and structures. Meta says this new Quest Runtime Optimizer is a more intuitive and user-friendly alternative. It's a UI window within Unity that provides actionable insights for specifically how developers can mitigate the problems it identifies. So this isn't just going to identify problems with polygons. I can see here it actually identifies quite a bit. Quest Runtime Optimizer isn't meant to replace RenderDoc or OVR GPU Profiler, Meta says, but is designed to be the starting point of your performance flows, saving you hours of manual profiling. The tool offers 3 kinds of analysis: bottleneck analysis, what-if analysis, and on Windows and Linux specifically, an optional material/shader analysis feature. That is really, really cool. The bottleneck analysis can rank entities by performance cost, while what-if analysis performs an automated A/B experiment by disabling game objects in your camera's view one by one and measuring the impact on the GPU. So this is truly a very automated experience. Hopefully, it's going to save developers quite a bit of time and will allow newer developers to essentially optimize their games a little bit better, especially if they're not familiar with the command line tool, which can be quite a pain in the ass to use sometimes. So this is really, really good to see. If you're a developer, do let me know what you think about this, and are you going to use it? This does seem to be quite a good automated process, especially the part where it kind of turns things off in your camera's view. Tests, that seems like there wouldn't be any issues with it, but I'm not a developer. Let me know what you think down below. And talking about optimizations, a little bug that apparently still sticks around: Fun fact, the bug is still around, although it usually is fixed with a simple reboot. On Quest 3, it can even happen in one eye, but not the other. And of course, we're talking about the chromatic abbreviation bug that sadly is Bradley reported back on in 2022, where some users were complaining on Reddit that their quests sometimes just stop applying chromatic abbreviation fixes. Reading, Reddit users are reporting that V37, not 73, V37 is either disabling or ruining the software-based chromatic abbreviation correction on their Quest 2s. Resetting to factory default is not fixing the issue. Anyone else with the same problems? So yeah, apparently this issue still exists. I can't say I've had it in quite some time, to be honest with you, or at least I haven't noticed. It would be really funny if it was happening in like my right eye, which I don't really see on, and I just had no idea that it was happening, but it was there. That's something Meta really needs to get on, because chromatic abbreviation, as you can see in the image showing above me, it's quite annoying when it stops working, the correction for it. Adobe Substance is apparently a free software that will allow you to collaborate on looking at 3D objects. So this is very interesting for me, especially because I know Adobe as a company and they don't normally provide stuff for free, but apparently they have launched Substance 3D Reviewer on the Quest Horizon Store, which is a free streamlined app collaboratively reviewing 3D models in VR or on the web. It's the second app in Adobe's Substance 3D brand to come to VR, after Substance 3D Monitor, a paid 3D modeling tool exclusively available on PC. There are two versions of Substance 3D Reviewer, the web app and the Quest VR app. You can join reviews from either, but only the web app supports uploading 3D assets to create a review. In reviews, VR users appear as their meta avatars, while web users are disembodied voice-only participants. VR has the advantage of showing assets 1:1 scale by default, and the app encourages walking around assets collaboratively at room scale. So this is really cool, and I can see this being quite a useful tool for people that need to collaborate on viewing 3D assets. Good job, Adobe. You actually did something good. I wonder how long it's going to be free for. Flat2VR Spark apparently wants to empower modders to create official VR ports of games. If you're not familiar, Flat2VR is a group of people that essentially takes flat screen titles that we all know and love and creates VR ports of them. VR ports that are so good they could be official. So, Flat2VR Spark is a new initiative designed to empower modders to create fully licensed adaptations. Appearing today during VR Game Showcase, Flat2VR Studios co-founders Elliot Tate and Eric Masher shared more about this upcoming initiative. Tate advised that having received too many requests from studios to bring their games into VR, Spark is designed for empowering talented modders and developers to work with the official source code. Masher states this helps the Flat2VR community get back to its roots, where it's unable to commit to a game as a full project. The video is light on details, though Flat2VR Studios confirmed more in a press release, stating this is not outsourcing. The developer will handle licensing, quality assurance, technical requirements checklist, and certification, XR platform requirements, platform certification, and more, while small expert pods handle day-to-day production. Partners will receive credit and revenue participation, while the IP remains with the original rights holders. Kicking off the Spark banner are three projects: I Am Your Beast VR, The Signal, Stranded on Sirenus, Sprawl, Stop Dead, and Flatout 4, Total Insanity. Flat2VR Studios confirmed Flatout's been rebuilt for VR with content parity, featuring 27 cars across 20 tracks. Confirmed gameplay modes include Arena, Stunt Mode, Capture the Flag, Survivor, and Assault Mode. Platforms for each title are unconfirmed, and the developer informed Upload VR that it is our intention to deliver every Flat2VR game on as many platforms as possible. So this is a really cool initiative. I've always been super for adapting titles that we play on PC into virtual reality because it really helps a lot. I mean, what are people complaining about right now? People are complaining about the content in VR, that there isn't enough AAA titles. But if you have a studio like Flat2VR that is potentially able to work with the original creators of a AAA title that has been created for PC and adapt it for virtual reality and do it well, then you can have a whole ton more AAA titles coming to VR from PC. And they're titles that people are going to know about. So that's really, really cool. The Pico 4 Ultra has gotten enhanced full body tracking. Like its predecessor, the Pico 4 Ultra is not available in North America. Since launch, ByteDance has continued continue to update Pico OS with features like phone mirroring, mouse and keyboard support, free window positioning, 3D screen recording, 2D to 3D image conversion, and more. Now in Pico OS 5.14, the company has brought travel mode to the headset, as well as support for using the Pico 5 trackers for enhanced body tracking on your legs or arms. This is actually a pretty large update, especially when it comes to full body tracking from what I can see here. Now Pico has added support for using up to 5 Pico trackers at once. You'll need to own 2 pairs of the standard Pico trackers SKU alongside 1 Pico Motion waist tracker version, bringing the total price up to €230. Still not a bad price, to be honest with you, if it works very well. Once you have them, you can choose between 2 configurations: enhanced thigh tracking or enhanced forearm tracking. This is, to be clear, in addition to the trackers you'll already have on your ankles and waist. Pico says enhanced thigh tracking tracks your thighs and knees more accurately. So this is really cool. Very, very excited to be seeing more companies actually jump into the VR full body space, and very excited to see this becoming more accessible to people, because the issue with full body was how expensive it was for a while. Slime VR obviously fixed that, and apparently Slime VR is working on something new now, so I'm going to be super excited to hopefully be bringing that to you guys. I still need to contact the Slime VR team about that, but it is looking really, really good, which is very exciting because their previous product was already brilliant. Very, very happy to see more full body tracking in virtual reality. Also, something I'm super excited about, and something that is open source, the PSVR 2. Eye tracking has now been cracked and works on PCVR and is entirely open source. If you're unaware, while PSVR 2 officially supports PCVR through Sony's official SteamVR driver, the headset currently lacks its standout features on PC, including eye tracking, HDR, headset rumble, and adaptive triggers. Now a team of programmers have released an open source mod of Sony's driver called PlayStation VR 2 Toolkit, and it includes eye tracking, adaptive triggers for Sense controllers, and 10-bit color depth support. That's crazy. I always say, you know, if the company isn't going to give it to us, the VR community is going to give it to us. The VR community, I've been in a lot of different open source communities, and they're all brilliant. But I have to say, the VR open source community is insane. It's like they are so determined to bring everything that a company is not going to give us into VR. And here they've done it. They have absolutely crushed it. They've brought everything that Sony hasn't to PCVR. And I think maybe Sony didn't do it because, you know, they still want to have these standout features only working on the PS5 so that you actually buy the PS5. But hey, these guys crushed it. 10-bit color depth is necessary for one of the 2 core tenets of HDR, the wider color gamut. The other tenet is the greater range of luminance. But according to the PSVR 2 Toolkit developers, SteamVR simply does not support PQ needed for that. Further, even the 10-bit color depth does not work on newer AMD cards due to an issue on AMD's side, which the developers say is out of their control. PSVR 2 Toolkit also improves the Sense controller tracking compared to Sony's version of the driver by implementing better prediction. That's crazy. The developer of Cactus Cowboy also got the Sense triggers working on PC back in September, but this leveraged and required DSX, a paid tool. The lead of the PSVR 2 Toolkit team goes by the handle What the Hopper. The other 2 developers on the team go by High Blocker, who worked on eye tracking, and Supremium, who worked on adaptive triggers. It's great to see you guys still working for the greater good of VR, and thank you so much for creating this. I don't even have a PSVR 2, but now honestly that we have all of these features working, I'm really tempted to just get one. I have a PS5, so who knows. Either way though, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day or night, wherever you are in the world. If you like this one, please do leave a like. If disliked, I guess this button works too, but let me know why down below. If you're not yet part of our community, check out our Discord and our Reddit down below, where I want to see you posting your spicy memes. And thank you so much to all the Patreons supporting the channel. You guys are amazing. You're fantastic. Seriously, much love. You are what makes all of this possible, and thank you so much for your continued support. But yeah, if you want to be notified, jump down, come on to the channel, make some subscribe with your mind balance, and again next video. Peace. That was the least understandable one I have ever done. Those who know. Peace.